Hi there. So, welcome to today's workshop, New Ways to Host a Retreat. So, I'm so excited to have all of you here joined today. And it's such a pleasure for me to be sharing this information. So, I'm very, very glad. So, first of all, this is what I want to do, right? I want to share my gratitude with all of you for your time and effort being here. But anyway, we can go ahead and just jump on the conversation so we really get into the nitty-gritty information. Okay? So new ways to host a retreat. So I want to start with something that is I used to do when I was hosting meetings with CFOs and CEOs and general managers of hotels. I would just go into the meeting and ask you, what is your superpower? Yes, I know. So it feels a little bit silly, but I think connecting with our superpower and our inner child is something that's extremely important for ourselves. So I'm going to start by sharing my superpower what I believe is one of my superpowers, because I feel everyone has more than one. So one of my superpowers is intuition. So I really feel I can see people, businesses, and opportunities and see the greatest expansion of how they could look, and then actually create a strategic and a pathway. I can also get a lot of intuition for my personal life and decisions and things I have to make. Actually, my upcoming program, Mastering the Art of Retreat Planning, just came to me one day when I was meditating. It was just very clear that that's exactly what I had to do. And then everything else started aligning into this purpose and this creation. So it was absolutely magical. And then another superpower that I really find that is one of my favorites is being creative. So I bring creativity into every single thing that I do. I really bring this energy of creation in all my projects. So either it's sharing sound healing, or it is creating retreats, or creating frameworks for my clients on the consultation. I bring this energy into everything I do. I really believe that it changes the way I do things, right? So this is very important. So go ahead and think, what is your superpower? No, just think about it. It might be something that you already knew you had and you just never named it a superpower. Or it might be something that's a little bit hidden and is just waiting to be discovered. So now I'm going to spend a little bit of time just telling you who I am in case you've never met me before and you want to hear a little bit more about my experience. So who I am Lainey. I'm a marketing expert, wellness entrepreneur, and founder of the Retreat Planner, a creative energy agency dedicated to creating sensational experiences and wellness-oriented activities. So this is who I am in a nutshell. A lot more. Anyway, so being this marketing expert really gives me the opportunity to bring into the wellness and the holistic world a lot of structure and foundations for it to happen, and for us to really have this important information behind us when we're creating things. And this is what this workshop today is all about. Before we move into that information, I'm going to go ahead and tell you a little bit about myself. So before I was living in Dubai, I was working for Marriott's global office for Middle East and Africa. So one of my first tasks was coming on the job and creating a private concert for Craig David. So I was doing massive events, or very private and niche events, for VIP members, for our ambassador members. I was rebranding restaurants. I was creating competitions for 11,000 people. Everything was in a massive, massive scale. And I loved it. It was such a rush. It was a beautiful experience. And I got to learn so many things. We were creating conferences for over 400 people, focused on sales, marketing, revenue, and customer insight, one of my favorite topics to the date. I got to plan events in front of the pyramids of Giza, in the summer palace of the King of Saudi Arabia, Alice in Wonderland, elite evenings, concerts in South Africa, So I got to travel the world with my job, and I absolutely loved it so, so much. But something was missing. My spiritual life and my work life they were not in match. They were not in balance. They were separate. I would do my 9 to 5 job and then go home and then go for a sound healing experience or a breathwork practice. So it was not connected. I needed something more. It was not enough. And then the pandemic struck. I was basically a Rapunzel in the 52nd floor, looking out the windows without being able to go out. The first chance I had, I left Dubai and I moved back to Mexico. And I just decided it was time for me to make my own decisions, that no one else should be making them for me. One of the first things I decided was that whatever I ended up doing, it had to have creativity inside of it. And look at me, I am doing it. Now I have a few more things that I added on the way that I wanted for my business to have. So once I started coming here and really embracing and letting the beautiful energy of the universe guide me through my path, I was planning the private retreat for Joe Dispenza. And this was such a funny story. One day, I was walking in the supermarket and I just thought, I really want to work with Joe Dispenza, so it creates a bridge between my rational mind and my spiritual being. That was it. It was a thought. I never even planned on how the thought would come or if it was, I didn't choose the words. I just had a thought and that was it. 3 weeks later, one of my clients comes and she's like, hey, would you like to plan a retreat for me for Joe Dispenza? And I was like, heck yes. I was just like, I'm in, and I was so happy to do it. And it was such a beautiful experience. There she is. Her name's Kath, and she's amazing, an amazing healer. Highly recommend it. So anyway, and it just happened like that. And then from there, I was planning master classes with Xuan Lan, a yoga and meditation teacher from Spain that was coming to Mexico. We posted this master class online. And within 72 hours, it was sold out on Eventbrite. And I had 50 people at least texting me, calling me, and sending me WhatsApps looking for a space to come meet her. I wish we had more space in the yoga shala to host them, but we were 37 people at the end, having a wonderful class with Xuan Lan, and then we got to share lunch with her. From there, I went really into the transformational private retreats, like renting out villas in wine estates in San Miguel de Allende, or private events in LA, specifically like in Topanga region, in the forest. So really creating these transformational retreats where people change their lives. Really going into this space where people change their lives. That's it. And everything that was planned and taken into consideration to assist this process. I was also super honored to be able to actually be part of Amate Camp and be working with them as an agency. Amate Camp is in Tepoztlan. It's a beautiful retreat center, super connected to nature in the skirts of the mountain, with a beautiful yoga shala, temazcal. And I got also to experience a lot of retreats as an attendee. So I learned also how I wanted to feel when I went to attend a retreat, because we also need to know the other side. So here's one tip. If you're someone who wants to host retreats for people and you've never attended one, sign up for one now, today. Don't wait, find one that you like and go for it, because you need to see the experience from the retreater. You need to really experience it and see how it is and work with it. It's very, very important to go through this process. We need to know what we're sharing and how we're sharing it and what people are expecting from this. Okay, so anyway, again, to close the loop, creativity is my passion and it's my method. So I do things through creative purposes. So everything that I create is with this energy. And I know it sounds very redundant, but it's exactly what it is. So when I planned Mastering the Art of Retreat Planning, I created something extremely playful, extremely connected, extremely purposeful, extremely practical. We go and we practice and we create and we bring our purpose into space. And this is exactly how I do absolutely everything. And this is what I teach. And today you get to learn a little bit about this in one specific topic, new ways to host retreats. So if you're still here with me, we're gonna go now get into the juicy stuff. I'm gonna warn you, you're gonna see a lot of numbers on the screen. I'm gonna make it as digestible as possible. Don't get scared. I know usually in this wellness world, we don't want to be looking at all these numbers, but it's so important for us to understand how behavior is changing and how things can do, and then we can implement them and make them our own. So I'm going to digest it. I'm really going to go through the important information that you need to know for this, but this is just a fair warning. Okay, so let's get some facts first, right? Before we go anywhere else, let's get some information. So first, what is wellness? So wellness is the active pursuit of activities, choices, and lifestyles that lead to a state of holistic health. I'm going to say it again. Is the active pursuit of activities, choices, and lifestyles that lead to a state of holistic health. So if you're not it's not active, if it's a passive activity, it's not wellness. Okay, it's not considered wellness. That's it. If it's a passive thing, it's not. So just whenever you're thinking, I'm going to name this wellness, make sure it's actually wellness and, it's not something different. Just to avoid misrepresentation. So now we're going to start with the numbers. Okay, so bear with me. I'm going to try to go through it very quickly, very clear and to the point. So global wellness economy in 2020 was $4.3 trillion, right? Can you even put the zeros to this number? If you don't put trillion, how many zeros are in this? It's a lot of money. It's a big, big economy. It has been growing a lot. So we have to keep these in mind. And then we're going to learn a little bit more about how it has happened and how, of course, there were effects because of COVID, but there are certain things that are still thriving and they're going to keep thriving and the other ones, they're just going to take a little bit longer to recover. Okay. So 4.4 trillion in 2020. By 2025, they're expecting to have $5.5 trillion in the business of wellness. And then I have also the explanation of why this is happening, right? And why it's growing so much higher than it used to before. COVID did have to do a lot of it. So there's something to be thankful for. Anyway, so the major markets people are spending on wellness is personal care and beauty, and healthy eating, nutrition, and weight loss. Right? You wouldn't think that people are spending so much in healthy eating, nutrition, and weight loss, but the trend is moving forward. So keep this in mind. And I'm not saying that you have to now shift the way you do retreats and just do things for personal care and beauty. But it's something that it would be wise to incorporate in your offerings or to make sure that it's highlighted. Sometimes we don't highlight things that are actually things that people really want to experience. So many people would want to go to a retreat and actually have a massage because they're so stressed and burned out with work. They want to rest. So they want to ensure that in their yoga retreat, there's going to be time for them to rest and to really recover. So they don't go out after a holiday and feel that they're drained and they need a holiday from the holiday. I don't know if this has happened to you, but it has happened to me. I have come back from holidays and be like, I need a couple of more days of rest. I need to recover from that. So let's keep that in mind. Then from there, we go into a physical activity business market, right? So physical activity. So everything that involves moving the body and being physical, it goes into this sphere. And then from there, we go into wellness tourism. Wellness tourism really focuses a lot in what we're talking about today, that is retreats. It also talks about wellness tourism just in the general of like going for a trip that is wellness oriented. Okay, so it's a big market there if you can see it. And then we have mental wellness. It's not so big. I'm skipping the other ones for the sake of the time, but mental wellness is also something that's growing a lot. But before it was not even considered something that it was part of wellness or it was necessary. So, okay, here we go into the big numbers. Don't worry. We're just going to focus on the left side of the screen. So we're just going to talk more about the wellness economy when it comes to the countries. So top places for wellness economy: Asia, Asia and the Pacific, then North America, Europe, then Latin America, Middle East and North Africa, and then at the end of Saharan Africa. Okay. So this is very, very important just for us to know where people are spending the most in wellness retreats. Okay. But if you can see here also, I just want to point this out, and I don't think I can show you the cursor here, but if you go into Asia Pacific, the spend per capita in 2020 in Asia Pacific is $359. But the per capita spend in North America is $3,566. And then we go lower in Europe, and then the same goes for Latin America. So this helps us really understand the spend by country. Okay, so next one is here, the wellness economy sector. So this is what we spoke about when it comes to the sectors that we were talking about: personal care, healthy eating, physical activity, wellness tourism, traditional complementary medicine, public health and prevention. And then we also have wellness real estate that actually did very, very well during COVID. You see, has a 22% increase, just 1% less than the period before. So it's actually quite amazing, right? It's the one that actually helped everyone else. So, and this is just for that. And then this is something that is very, very important. Okay, so this is like, if you take a message out of all the numbers that I'm sharing, take a message from here. So projected average annual growth rate for between 2020 and 2025. Okay, so just let's focus on wellness tourism. 20.9% increase, annual growth rate. This is massive. Massive is the highest one. So if you're planning to do retreats, you're in the right place, but you just need to learn how to do them right, because there's a lot of retreats out there. So you need to create a differentiator for what you're offering. And here, this is just for regular information. So for information about spending. So for us to understand the behavior of people. So wellness tourism spending premiums. So an international wellness tourist spends 35% more than an average international tourist. Why? Because they find wellness is worth paying. Very, very simple. And then domestic wellness tourism spends 177% more than the average domestic tourist. So let's keep this in mind when we're thinking about our prices. So, and this I added specifically for people not to compare themselves, but or try to really compete with a price of someone who's offering maybe a touristic experience, and you're offering a transformational experience. There is a difference. So make sure the value is there. Okay, so once we got these numbers straight, we can leave that phase, that moment of really going into the numbers and thinking about why do we want to host retreats differently? Like, why do we want to do it? The most important part of this is finding the why. Like, why is it that we really want to go there? So this is very, very important. So why do we want to host retreats differently? This is a very, very interesting question. Why? Because we want them to be transformational, right? We want to make sure that we're not from the cookie cutter factory. We're someone who's special, who's offering transformation, and who at the end of the day are serving our clients in our best possible way. We don't have to be perfect, but we just need to do the correct thing in the best way possible. And for this, you can use techniques and tools to get there, right? This is exactly what I spend my life doing. I teach people how to do these things without having to spend 18 years of event planning experience like myself to learn quite a few things, So I can save you a couple of years there. Anyway, so very important. Why do we want to host retreats differently? Because we want to serve our clients the best way possible, because we want to fulfill our purpose. And I'm sure our purpose will come with a side of abundance. That's it. Like It's very, very simple. So now I'm going to talk about the main types of retreats that are offered, right? So main types of retreats that are offered is wellness, relationships, and wealth. How can we think about offering something that is not in these three boxes? Or how do we mix one or two or the three of them into one place, you know, for you to actually be able to share this information properly and to create a retreat that is really changes people's lives. And sometimes just focusing on one thing is the right way to go. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes you need to go deeper into one thing. But let's think about this is the main types of retreats. Are you offering something different than this? Is your offering like not within these boxes? Is this giving you the option to create something different? Right. So this is all about introspection. So this is also the next step is how do we host retreats differently? Because the why is very simple, you know? There's so many things out there. We need to make sure that we're standing out and that we're making a difference and that we're honoring our clients at the end of the day. We need to honor our clients. If they're spending their money with us, we have a responsibility to give them our best and to really actually fulfill what we offer. So offer what you really can give, but really go the extra mile and make sure that you can fulfill these needs. So how do we hold retreats differently? So my 3 key P's is passion, purpose, and being playful. So this is the way I do it. So I make sure that everything I'm doing when I do a retreat, so I wanted to make be different, I really bring my passion and my heart into it, right? Passion, heart. So my heart is there. Then I have my purpose always there. You know, why am I doing this? I really bring my purpose into retreat planning. And then I also always make it very playful. So it's fun. I bring my inner child out to play and dance and to really give me the crazy ideas, you know, and I bounce out ideas and I'm like, okay, well, maybe not this one for this time, but then, you know, I keep it in my bank of ideas. So bringing the 3 key P's for me is very, very important in the way that it brings passion, purpose, and playfulness. And then from here, we're going to go into a map and we're going to see the special places, like the special offerings from each place in the world, because this is also going to help us to host retreats differently. So every destination has something unique to offer, right? So Colorado has hiking, mountain and yoga retreats. And then Costa Rica and Belize has rainforest spa retreats. Have you looked at the pictures of the places over there? I was in Costa Rica 2 weeks ago. It was absolutely insane. So green. And I was just like, wow by it. Then there's Korea where they have the Yimgilbang, or Japan, the Onsen Super Sento. And for anyone who doesn't know what it is, and I did not know what it is when I planned this presentation, and I had to look it up. It's steam baths, right? So don't feel bad about it. I had to search, I Googled it myself. So there's steam baths, kind of like the Turkish baths, but in Korea and Japan, they're quite popular. So something similar you would have in Finland with the sauna. So, for example, Australia, surf and yoga retreats, New Zealand, hot springs. Then we have Argentina, thermal resorts, Mexico, Temazcal and beach resort spas, and California, weight loss and detox retreats. So once you see this, you can see a trend of the retreats that are happening and the activities, wellness activities that are happening in each place. So if you see that there's an over offer of detox retreats in California and you're trying to reach out to people in California, you might want to try something different. That's it. As simple as that. So keep that in mind. And then we're moving in this, like this is the closing part. So maybe I should have not moved so fast, but anyway, we're here anyway. So this is the closing part of this, like this is where we really get and hone in into what we have to do. So how to move forward when we're hosting new ways to host retreats. And this is very, very important. So please stick with me, because this is exactly what you need to bring into your thought process when you're creating retreats. So self-care and for self-preservation and survival. So this is something that's coming up now. It was not, self-care was not something that we thought it was necessary in our lifetime. We just thought it was when we were burnout, we took care of ourselves. You know, when you're really, really sick, then you go to the doctor kind of situation. Okay, so now self-care is becoming necessary. It's part of our needs for survival. We need to have self-care. This is something that people are finding it's something very, very necessary. Then we have prevention as a lifestyle and a public health priority. So preventing diseases, preventing health problems, having a healthy lifestyle, eating better. This is very, very important. So people take big consideration into this. Then wellness and science must move forward together. So what does this mean? I was in this wonderful podcast about bioenergetics just yesterday. And we were just talking about how now science has proven that different types of breath work are very positive for our body, and actually how slow breathing is better than the Kambayalajati breath work that we're very used to. But yoga practices, they have both of them. But now science is actually saying, oh, yes, we actually proved it and it's good. So bringing this rational element into your practices and when you're explaining things creates a difference for the people who are listening. So the rational mind people, like myself, I'm a very spiritual person at the same time, but my rational brain is really active, understands, and gets to know it better. Okay. So then we have 3 more. So leaning into nature for nourishment and healing. And when I talk about nature, I'm just not talking about being outdoors. And being nature, I mean like going to the waterfalls, getting to the forest, going to the desert, really experience and experience the elements outside of you. So really connect with that. And then balancing physical and virtual connection. So whenever you have a chance, go for the physical opportunity to meet with people. I would be happy to have you here in my house, and I would be having coffee or tea with you and some cookies probably, and having this conversation rather than on the computer, on the screen. But the reality is that we can balance it. We can find a new way. We've been so programmed to actually stay away from people for the past couple of years that we really need to do an additional effort to connect. And then mental well-being takes center stage. This is also something very, very important to keep in mind. Mental well-being is so important. It's something that we really need to take very, very seriously. Mental well-being has been a struggle for the last couple of years, and I think it has been for much longer. But the last couple of years, the amount of suicide rates went higher, even though the amount of car crashes decreased. So one for another, I guess. But mental well-being, being stranded in an apartment without having the possibility to see your family and friends, really can cause damage into your mental well-being. And for us to actually be able to go back into a normal life, we need to have a support system in that way. People are now struggling, this is so funny, to going back to the office. My friends who used to go 5 days a week are now complaining because they told them they have to go 1 day a week. This is happening and it's real. So how to move forward? It's very, very important for us to really get into this information, right? So anyway, from the workshop, this is really something that's very, very important to keep in mind. And I would like just to share with you a little bit of like a couple of details of what I'm teaching in my upcoming class, Mastering the Art of Retreat Planning. So Mastering the Art of Retreat Planning is a program, a plan to learn how to create and plan and launch a retreat in 3 days or less. So we go through the practices to get 3 key takeaways: to learn how to work less with the techniques and tools, to do and plan retreats that are stress and hassle free, and retreats that are profitable. I teach you frameworks and pathways for you to actually learn all the tools and techniques and fulfill your purpose when planning retreats. This can be translated into different scenarios. So either can be short retreats, long retreats, day retreats, workshops, whatever. It really shows you the framework, and it also shows you the communication style based on the different nationalities that you're talking to, if it's international or where you're hosting it. So it's a high intensity, high results program. I really feel that this program is something that is going to shift the way retreats are planned. And I have created this from a space of purposefulness and my heart. And from this inner guidance knowing that this is something that we need in order to plan retreats differently and host retreats differently. So we're not a part of all the retreats shared out in the world. So just so you know, there are some bonuses. So there's a Q&A session with me. So I will give live feedback on the personal retreats that are planned during the class. I'm going to offer this special price for anyone who joined this workshop. So it's $747. And there's some payment plans on the website, if in case that's what you need. But it's all about if you're ready to invest in yourself to launch or to master the way you're creating retreats, or if you feel there's something that you're missing, if there's something missing in the chain for you to really go and excel and expand your retreat planning business or your offerings as a yoga teacher, meditation teacher, healer, or life coach, then this is for you, because the group is the classes are completely tailored based on the people who join. And then bonus 3, for anyone who signed up for this workshop, even if you attended or not, I will be offering a private session after the retreat. This private session is usually valued at $333. So I am going to be super happy to spend some time with you, review what you created, and make sure that you have something that is ready for launch, and that you know how to sell it. That this is something also very, very important that we touch in the program. We go through the process of creating it, planning it, and launching it. And we learn all the different, I have 25 different strategies on how to sell your retreat. We talk about timelines, everything. So once you leave this program, you don't need me anymore. You're ready to do 1 retreat, 2 retreats, 3 retreats, 5 and 10, whatever you feel it's what you need, right? So because this is the recording, the giveaway has been given. So thank you so much for Tatiana Camacho, who won the session, and Veronica Ciandre, who won the access to the class. So super, super grateful for them to be joining part of the tribe. I invite you to join my group called Retreats 101 on Facebook, where I will be sharing and answering a lot of questions throughout time. So I'll see you there. And once again, thank you for your time today and getting this information and this knowledge out there. And I hope you do your best. I can't wait to spend and share some time with you. And feel free to send me messages on Instagram. I'm always replying. My Instagram handle is @theretreatplanner. Very, very simple. So hope to see you there. Bye.